here's what I did this week on the farm. I dug a few more beds. I transplanted one bed with 3 types of beets, a tray of dill, kind of to attract pollinators for the rest of the beds. Also, who doesn't love dill? And I transplanted 2 different types of kohlrabi, it's called a German turnip. They're honestly really delicious. You can eat them raw. They kind of remind me of apples, so get some near you. I did a row of my cosmos, borage, and also more dill. I also set up irrigation for my main beds. It's a temporary irrigation setup until I get my main system dug and everything, but that might be in a little bit. So right now I have a temporary setup using a hose. It's working really well. There was a 90-degree day, so it was nice to have that set up beforehand so that I could kind of make sure everything stayed perky. Speaking of my beds staying perky, they are really coming along nicely. I'm really happy with how my direct seeded beds have progressed. There's some patchy germination, to say the least, in my spinach, but I'm gonna be filling in all the bare spots with things that I can transplant. Speaking of which, I have a few more trays started in the greenhouse. I have a tray of spinach to fill in those patches, as well as a few sunflower trays, another cucumber tray of Corinto, and a tray of calendula. It's an edible flower. You can use it medicinally. It's pretty. I also potted up my tomatoes just to give them more breathing room. They were also drying out a little fast, and I could kind of see their roots popping out the top of the soil. The main indicator I was looking for really was them getting at least 2 sets of true leaves. There's a couple that weren't quite there yet, but I'm sure they'll be fine. So we'll see what happens. I spent a lot of time watering, but luckily I don't have to water my mini beds anymore because the drip irrigation is working really well. Speaking of which, they are all booming. I might have to harvest sooner than I anticipated, but I've got to wait until I'm a little closer to my market, which is next week. But I'm getting all my stuff ready for that. I have my produce bags, I have my scale. Yeah, so everything's coming along really well. I have to set up my wash pack station next week. That's only going to really be like an extra hose and some of my tubs. So, not too complicated. Speaking of market, I've been getting some stuff ready for it, including making my logo, with thanks to Canva. I think it really came out pretty well. I also set up a shade cloth in the hardening off area, specifically for my basil, but there was also a 90-degree day, so I think my cilantro and chard appreciated it as well. But everything else is transplanted, so. Oh, except for my kale and collards. Okay, and then both majestically and tragically, I saw a few deer, like right outside my garage, which was like, okay, a little too confident. And then I heard mating calls at night, which was horrifying, but I kind of knew it was a deer because, I don't know, you just get a vibe sometimes. So I didn't think it was a monster, but I might have. It was loud and yeah, strange sounding. But yeah, that's really what I did this week. And now time for Content Corner. This week, I finally watched The Bone Temple. I loved it. Ray Fiennes was incredible. It was very, like, biblical. I do love occults, so that was gruesome and terrifying in a way I love. I liked how they tied in, like, all of the other movies in a way that I thought was really fun. It's like one of those things where it's like you want there to be another one, where it's like Cillian Murphy and I don't know, Skipper, what was his name? Where they're just like a ragtag group and they travel the country killing zombies. Although now we know, I mean, spoiler alert, there's a cure, but the one who came up with it is dead now. So I don't know, is Samson gonna figure it out? I don't know, but it was a really fun. I enjoyed it a lot. I highly recommend it. And I listened to Katumu's new EP. I really love her. I think she's a fantastic musician. I really think she has a beautiful voice, and I love her lyrics. I'm a big lyrics girl, but yeah, I just think she has the song Hunting Days, which is the first song I heard by her, and I was immediately obsessed with it. And I've been listening to everything she puts out ever since. And I've also been listening to the Rehash podcast backlog. I love cultural analysis. It basically sounds like my Substack feed, but in podcast form, and I really enjoy it. And for reading, I've been reading Will Bonsall's Essential Guide to Radical Self-Reliant Gardening. I haven't been reading it like cover to cover but it is something I've been using as a reference for my compost program I'm trying to build out a bit, just because I'm going to be mowing soon and I'll have all this like green material that will be incredibly useful to use in compost. So I want to have that system figured out sooner rather than later. And Will Bonsall's been my guide. It's a book that my neighbor Jim lent me. That's what I've been up to this week. I'll catch you back here next week for week 18.